Geordie Yam Yam alongside the mighty Win. No, I think a lot of he's been talking to me while the music's been on my ears, and I've been like, what's going on?
Well, except I wasn't getting any music and not getting any on YouTube either.
No, I don't know. YouTube at the start there, I've seen on my other screen was a little
Well,
bit
there now
dodgy.
anyway.
Yeah, so welcome one and all. Apologies if that didn't come through at the start of the show as well as it could have done. Yeah, we're
Well,
here on the
I
usual.
think that's been Chris in the background working his magic to get Isak off all our promotional stuff.
Yeah, just wash it. Just completely wash it. Yeah, interesting.
AI, remove these images.
Yeah. Interesting show last night. And according to some of the chat that I had coming up on the TV was really funny because apparently I've been on holiday over the last 2 days. And Ian was saying I've been at his house. I haven't. Unfortunately, I haven't been too good. I suffer with fibromyalgia and it completely, when I have an attack, completely wipes me out. Now, literally, over the weekend, I was in so much pain. I just literally couldn't get my head off the pillar on Monday. So apologies for missing you guys. But I have had you in the background. Don't worry, I haven't been too far away. As always, been some amazing chat. And today shouldn't be any different. Apart from, we're going to try and put to bed a couple of the rumours and stuff like that. You know, I like to go a little bit of a deep dive, and I'm not a person who sits on the fence, but I also like to try and find out a little bit about the subject before I start pointing a finger and slamming. Again, my motto is, no blame culture, but a finger pointing attitude. So it's a case of just trying to get that rat off your intro pick, says Paul J. Yeah, I think that could be in the limelight. But I suppose before we get, I think we before we get into today's show, I hope, like I say, I hope everybody's well on this Wednesday afternoon. So again, once again, to everybody that's watching
Can
across.
I just quick shout out to Sean Hill Cesar, who I've just discovered's in hospital today. So,
all the best, Sean.
Because I was asking him if he'd received his prize, and he says, I don't know because I'm in hospital.
Oh, bless you.
So, all the best, Sean, if you're watching.
Yeah, indeed. I hope it's nothing too serious, my friend. Like I say, welcome to everybody that's watching across all of the platforms. Thanks to everybody that works in the background. It's a never-ending job for our mods, especially at this present moment in time, with all the banter that's out there. So again, if you are, I'm going to say, we don't mind anybody from any colour supporting any club. Come on this channel, open opinions, and we value everybody's opinion. What we won't accept is obviously that shameful side of it where you just start abusing the panelists, abusing the content creators, the mods, and the people in the chat. So keep it friendly. But apart from that, you're more than welcome. But the most important thing, and you've been absolutely amazing over the last couple of shows, don't forget to smash that like button for us if you enjoy us. It just helps us get further as a channel. And like I say, over the last few weeks, we've been absolutely amazed by your commitment to do that. Subscribe, it's totally free. Hit that bell for future content. If you want to support us, you can become a member. The small levels you can choose from, depending on how much you want to pay. And obviously that will then get you on board to watch all the different stuff that we put on there for members only. If you've got a question for me or Win, you can put a Q in front of that question. It just helps us highlight it, but it ain't guaranteed. But if you want to guarantee it, then use the $sign, throw us a super chat, and that will be on there. And obviously, for anybody that's within the chat now, it's an open network for the, so what I can see, for the Prediction League. You've literally just got to come on board, pay your £5 subscription to enter. And if you're in the top 6 at the end of the season, then you obviously get a prize for being involved. The first 3 is monetary. The 3 after that is usually a prezi of some description. So, like I say, come on board and you will definitely get more than your money back if you're in there. And to be fair, from what I've seen within that already, we have over 25 people involved in the prediction league. So that's excellent. So, like I say, it's an open platform this season. We're trying something different for all the viewers out there that want to come on board. Where before it used to be members only. So today's show, we're going to go into what's out there in the transfer market, if you like. Lots of talk about the Jacob Ramsey. Certain people saying it's virtually a done deal now at 38 million. We'll go into that one. We've also got the Johan Wissa domino effect. It seems as though that could be still in the pipeline as we're waiting for other clubs to sign players to get in. But the main topic of today, we're going to have a bit of a deep dive again into Isak, but more having a look at Vlado Lemić, which is his advisor, ill-advised advisor.
His ill advisor.
Yeah. So it's going to be Chris is just saying we've got 30 people now in the prediction tournament.
I was going to come on to that. But no,
yeah, well, like I said, last time I looked, there was 25. So again, thank you so much for getting involved. It's a bit of fun, and like I say, I think it's going to be really hard this season with the predictions, starting with Aston Villa on Saturday. So enjoy. We are going to, like I say, star a couple of chats as we go through, but I suppose we better start off with the Ramsey chat, because obviously there's lots of talk now about Jacob Ramsey, and according to Goal, the formalities of the deal have been agreed, but the deal will represent pure profit for Villa. Ramsey could be in line to face his old side immediately. I mean, it's not going to happen. We know that because Villa are holding back to a point and delaying tactics to probably even not getting him included in Saturday's squad. But it is definitely going to be an interesting one. Apparently, there was an approach from West Ham to try and persuade.
Keep them in the same colours.
Yeah, I mean, obviously,
he suits claret and blue.
I think it's more the fact that, like, we all know Eddie Howe seems to have gone or regressed back to his 2022 book, because even back then he was well liked by Eddie Howe. Obviously, a under 21 international. And he has been involved in obviously you can say Villa's progress, but unfortunately he has been tarnished with one or two injuries. I mean, I've just had a quick brief look: 29 appearances, 1 goal, 3 assists in 1,631 minutes. Nothing major. He was involved in 10 games in the Champions League. 1 goal, 2 assists in 392 minutes. So you've got a question.
That's 1 goal and 2 assists in 4 matches.
4 matches. It's not bad in the Champions League, is it? Really? You've got to look at it though and say, are we getting another Callum Wilson with his hamstring issues? That's going to be a doubt. And I would imagine that could also delay, because I think his medical will be more advanced. There will be more of a deeper look into some of his issues, very similar to, like I say, the Callum Wilson days where we had him. And unfortunately, after his first couple of seasons, it went pear-shaped. Now, hamstrings are one of those things where sometimes you need a surgical procedure to get, to fix them, to get them right, because of the fibres within the tissue. The tissue fibres just not repairing well, and being very easy to fray and snap. So it's certainly something that Bunsey is going to have a bit of a closer look at, isn't it, before we get any further? Just going to have a slurp of me coffee.
Well, Bunce, this kind of debunks the Eddie won't work with Mitchell associates myth, because him and Bunce seem to be getting along famously.
Yeah.
And the results are there for everybody to see in terms of frequency of injuries. for the squad.
For the squad, yeah. Thanks for all the best wishes, Shelley. Thank you so much for your support. I am doing okay. I mean, it is an interesting one when you look at it, because, like I say, every player that comes through the door is a bad one. But again, you look at the 2022 book of Eddie Howe, and he's gone back and regressed to all those players that he highlighted back then. We've got some in the door that he obviously ployed with Amanda Staveley. 3 windows because of financial issues and PSR regulations. We haven't had anybody. We've opened the network again. Do you think it's strange that we've gone back to that book, though, to look at the players that he looked at back then, rather than opening the net up further afield? Players advance over 2 seasons. Targets that he may have just had in the background. I mean, none of us know whether it isn't true, but do you think that he's actually highlighted these players because of the amount of scouting that they've had already?
I think he's finally, well, I say finally, not in a derogatory way at all, he's realised that we're having to lower our expectations in the transfer market. And he's, whereas he might have been going for higher profile players than Jacob Ramsey, he's learned the lesson the hard way that it seems whenever we go in for a player, one of the cartel 6 decide they're going to have him as well. So, we cannot but accept the fact that we're gradually working our way down the list. But what it means is that there were lists there in the first place. These aren't coming out the blue, because, as you say, this is a player that we looked at 2 years ago. We spoke about him just after the channel had started. He was one of the first potential recruits that we talked about. So, and he certainly hasn't regressed. And as we know, 99% of players under Eddie improve. So hopefully there's some improvement there. The fact that Emery's letting him go and is happy to let him go, I don't know what that says. But, you pay your money, you take your choice, and time will tell. I mean, he's not going to be a first-team starter. I think he must know that when he looks at the midfield we've got and the wingers we've got. So, as we've said a million times, we need to beef up that bench a bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know we've said it all along. You've got to have players that can come in off the bench that make a difference. And I certainly think under the right guide, Ramsey could definitely do
There's
that.
There's definitely a player there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
We've seen him. I mean, he's produced the goods against us once, of course.
Absolutely. Yeah. He caused, I mean, to be fair, like I say, he's caused no end.
It was big Dan Burn that he skinned, so...
Yeah, it was.
And Dan Burn took his brickbats then off a lot of people.
Yeah, but that's it, isn't it? I mean, that's the Jacob. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's the Jacob Murphy scenario. Are we looking at a player that fits? Somebody, I don't know whether it's a Villa fan who's just come on, welcome on board, who's just saying he's very much a Jacob Murphy-esque type player. So not the high line, but he's going to come into the side and give you something. He's not just going to.
If he can give us what Jacob Murphy gave us last season, I'll settle for that.
Well, like I say, it's whether we can reproduce anything at all. You can feed as much into the box unless you've got a goal scorer there. And I think the main concern for all of us at the minute is who's going to be up front. And it very much, like I say, at the minute, looks like Anthony Gordon is going to be our front man against Aston Villa, which is scary, mate, to be fair. And I can't see any goals. I seriously can't see us scoring a goal while we haven't got a forward. And that brings me directly onto the Wissa situation because, again, we're in that domino effect with players, aren't we? Brentford aren't willing to lose Wissa until they bring in the Bournemouth player. Bournemouth ain't going to let the Bournemouth player go until they bring a player in to substitute, and it's a knock-on effect. So that could, like I say, that could last to the end of the window. We may not have anybody going up front. And somebody just said there, why don't we go for a loan player just to fill the void? And that's a good shout, you know. But again, if they're on loan, you've got to ask the question is, why are they deemed to be a loan player? Now, obviously, you've got Vlahovic, who's fell out with Juve. They want 17 million for him. Would it not be a case of a loan for a season? Would that not be a scenario that you'd look at? A loan for a season
I would definitely
with an option to buy?
I would definitely look at Vlahovic, but I would just pay the 17 million.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, you don't know what you're getting with this lad at the minute.
Well,
mentally.
So it's potentially cost you 17 million. We've potentially paid 15 million for Asula. I know which one of the two I would rather see starting up front.
Oh, I agree with you. I totally agree
to me, it's a no-brainer. A lot of wages, and everybody was saying, Dad, how can we pay him, 200, nearly 300,000 or whatever we would need to negotiate with them for Vlahovic, or negotiate with Vlahovic, in fact, when we wouldn't pay Isak it. But it's two completely separate scenarios.
Mm.
You look at what the overall package is going to cost you, and that's what, if we paid him 300,000, that's 300,000 a week is 15 million. 5 years at 15 million. It's cost us 75 plus 17 signing on fee. Total package 92 million. Over 5 years, and that's but it's only 17 million up front. The rest comes out of the forthcoming seasons.
Simon Faramond here. You see, I love El Khaleesi. I've been asking about this lad for a while now. I think he's a great attacking midfielder at Leicester, and that's what I'm saying. Is Ramsey going to bring us a little bit of extra oomph in that middle of the park? And the way I look at it now is you have to trust Eddie in obviously bringing in a player that's going to be best suited to the setup at Newcastle United. Now, we all thought that Willock was going to push on and become that next thing, and it's failed. It seems as if the more pressure put on Willock these days regarding minutes played, the glassier it becomes. It's becoming very frail. And again,
I don't think the two are mutually exclusive, though. I don't think there's anything to stop us getting Ramsey and Khaleesi.
No, but especially for the money's the release fee that Khaleesi will come for. Yeah. And again, what you have the option there. He's an inside left and an inside right if you want to play a narrow three rather than a wide three. So yeah, like I said, if one of Eddie Howe's biggest critics out there has always said that there is no B or C when it comes to changing up the side. And with these two players, you do get an option of playing a different way with your wing backs. If you ever want to go three at the back with your two wing backs, you could play virtually a diamond through the middle or a box section with your two wide midfielders and your two inverted midfielders. So there is a process of elimination, I suppose, when it comes to players, because they can all give you something different. And I like that. I like a team where a coach has a variety. And unfortunately, you've got to have players that are able to do that. And I think, like I say, as much as our players are two-dimensional at times, I think they do go amiss when they're asked to play on a more, what you'd class as a more natural position. So it is an interesting one. So Wissa and Ramsey seem to be the ones coming through the door. But again, I can't see any involvement at all come Saturday against Villa, even if they get the jobs done really quickly. Again, according to
Just out of
reports,
interest, I've just had a look to see, because obviously with Villa being involved in the league phase, there are, um, easy teams, shall we say, in the league section of the Champions League. So I just thought I'd see where Ramsey scored his goal and got his 2 assists. And he scored his goal against Young Boys, Switzerland, so that's one of their best teams. But,
yeah, a bit less.
2 assists were against Celtic, would you believe? So we could have done with him 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. It's crazy. I've just been having a quick look on here. I've just seen from Connor that Johan Wissa has been told to train on his own by Brentford. So obviously, again, looking at leaks, tactical leaks and things like that. It looks like Wissa now, again, is that another move closer to the door, potentially?
Well, the only reason you would tell a player to train on his own is because you don't want him being aware of what your tactics are, etc., etc., etc. And the only reason that matters is if he's leaving.
Well, that's what I said. You don't want anybody. I mean, they call it. If you were anywhere else within the establishment, you'd be put on garden leave because you don't want anything to be leaked out. And it's virtually the same for players. They just has to be told or trained away from the main pack so they don't leak anything. People think that's a small thing, but it's a big thing when you play in the opposite team that these guys are going to. So another thing is again, I don't know how true this is, but there's rumours out there that Liverpool are on the case again with 120 plus 5 for Isak. So again, let's just have a quick look at some of the chats if there's something that we've starred in there. Marco 4863. Feel sorry for anyone in the Hussey. It's 29 degrees today. Yeah. It's 32 here.
It's warm out there, definitely.
Yeah, it's certainly warm today. It's very humid.
I tell you what was weird here yesterday, because it got hotter at 5 o'clock by a long way than what it was at sort of 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock.
Yeah. We were parked in the shade when we got into the car, and it says 30 degrees. And then we went to the shops, literally half an hour, and come back, and all of a sudden it went from 30 degrees to 34 degrees in the blink of an eye. Very oppressive. Michael, NUFC, I am going to come to this because it's a good question. And again, there's been a really good write-up in the mag, so I'll potentially come back to that question in a second. Irish Assassin. And this is, again, one of the stories of today, was banned by PSV, and we'll come on to that one. A very good chat on that one. So let's move on to the Isak scenario then, because again, we have lots of, you guys were talking about it yesterday, and obviously Chris and a lot of people out there are now saying, he's a rat. Thank you, Irish Assassin, for that one. You want to read it out, bud?
Yeah, Ramsey is good for a few reasons. He's a unit. I don't know if I would call him a unit necessarily, but better than Longy, yeah, I'd go along with that. Sorry. Homegrown. We need that for the Champions League. Eddie will make him better. Yeah. All perfectly valid.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Like I say, there's still a lot of people on the fence with this one, and I think it's going to be it is going to be an interesting look into it. Chris has just thrown us so anybody that's involved in the predictions league. Obviously, there's 2 ways of doing the predictions. It's got to be in an hour before kickoff. Is one of the main ones. It's got to come via our WhatsApp group on the Predictions League. So if you're not a member of the WhatsApp group, jump on board, or you can email Win himself, and I think he'll have his email in the description below. So That is the only way. And if it's not, I mean, obviously, if we can see it, that it's landed before kickoff, you'll be included. If not, you won't be. But like I say, there has to be a clear and concise way that you can see it. We can see it, because if you can see it before kickoff, it means we can see it before kickoff. So there you go. And I'll just making sure I've read that out. When he's not, we risk of forgetting. There you go. Yeah, I've got that one. Malik Chow, obviously, it looks like I've seen it look like he was wearing number 40 on that shirt, but I've seen rumours that he's wearing number 22.
Well, that's Pope. So is Pope getting the number 1?
He's got number 1, yeah. So I've seen that Pope is now wearing number 1, and it looks like he's going to be wearing the number 22 shirt. Oh, Chow number is 12, according to Simon and Paul, Geordie Dan, 12. So there you go. So that's what I said. You see all this crap on the telly.
So my email is in the chat there now. tmw@nufctalk.tv.
Yeah, there you go. It must be 12. Everybody's coming in with 12. So there you go. I'd seen him on doing the Chow thing on the back, and he was wearing a number 40 shirt. And I'm thinking, why have you got that on?
Yeah, well.
And obviously, somebody in the chat had put 22. Obviously, they'd misread it as well. It is 12, according to everybody in the chat. So thank you for that. That's an interesting one. But it does look like Palpy's picked up the number 1 shirt. Do you feel as though Palp will be number 1 for the start of the season? Instead of Ramsdale?
Listen, it's a bit like him or Dubravka. I don't think there's a cigarette paper between them. And it's a question of, do you want Pope's shot-stopping ability, or do you want his rivals' overall game? And if you look, I think anyway, if you look through most games, you'll find that there will be, a few brilliant shots saved by Pope, which obviously would be goals against if he didn't make them. So it's a really difficult balance to say, how much have we missed out on defensively and attacking by his total ineptness, really, at kicking and distribution. We looked at Ramsdale's stats on Saturday. It was 26 out of 27 successful passes, including, was it 8 out of 9 long passes?
Like that. Yeah.
And the one long pass, if you remember to the game when he missed out, he tried to get the ball long to Wissa, to Elanga on the wing, and it was just intercepted. And had that ball got through to Elanga, he was away and through on goal. So it's a delicate balance, because every single super save that's made would definitely be a goal against if it wasn't saved. And how do you balance that against what you're missing out on with the rest of his game?
Yeah.
Let's be honest. The goalkeeper's first job is to keep the ball out the net.
Of course.
And I think Pope is better at doing that than the rest are. But the uncertainty that he creates generally in the defence, how many goals do we concede because of that? And that's the big incalculable, if you like. It's in the eye of the beholder, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And that is what we were saying before, though. The 1 or 2% that Eddie Howe was looking for regarding feet and distribution from the back, pep football, if you like, going forward. Are we losing 1 or 2% then regarding handling ability, shot stopping? So, like I said, if Ramsdale was great at everything, then he certainly wouldn't have been in Southampton's team, would he? You know, that's how I look at it. So I agree. I think what you've got there, again, we go back to this amalgamation thing, isn't it? If you could amalgamate the two, you'd have a great keeper. Yeah, but you ain't going to get that. So I think at the end of the day, I think I think it's Pope's to lose, put it that way. And I think depending on how
and Eddie loves
wants
him.
to go for, well, you know, he's been a good servant again. I think Eddie shows a lot of faith to lads that have been loyal to him. But you know, I do like the fact that, you know, we are looking into. We are looking into changing it up a bit. Like I say, the one thing that concerns me, as always, it's a case of, have we got players of the ability at the back that can play a ball? We've heard from Dan Burn when he did the high performance interview, and he says, you know, he looks to get rid of the ball as soon as he's got it, because he's not the type of player. He's not a Fabian Schär. He's not a Bruno. So he always looks to deliver the ball early to somebody's feet rather than him having to do that type of work. And, you know, you've got to ask yourself, is Botman? It'll be interesting to see how Malik Chow does since his arrival. But according to form, that was one of the reasons why we went and scouted him so good. Because of his distribution.
There's some interesting names here. I just thought I'd have a quick look and see Newcastle's history of the number 12 since the Premiership.
Yeah.
And there's some peculiar names on here.
Is there?
I mean, we've got Dubravka and Steve Harback, because traditionally the 12 is always for the reserve, the reserve keeper, the second keeper. But Jamal Lewis had it last year. Dwight Gale had it.
Wow.
19 to 21. Danny Simpson, he did a good job for us and then went on to win the title with Leicester, of course. Sebastian Bassong. There's a blast from the past. He had it. Shola Amiobi had it before he got to 23.
23, yeah.
Andy O'Brien, Andy Griffin, and probably the pick of the, well, we'll decide, Dietmar Hamann. So he did really well before he trotted off to Liverpool.
Yeah.
Followed the Kennedy, McDermott, Beardsley route, and looking like it's possibly going to be Isak following the same route. Andy Griffin, Stuart Pearce, Philip Albert. Now, I can't understand that one, because it was 96, 97, but of course he was 27. So I don't know why he wore 12 that particular year. Mark Hottiger was he was the first sort of Keegan defender. And that takes us back to 94-5.
Some good names.
So there's one or two good names there, isn't there? Dietmar Hamann and Philip Albert.
Let's see if he fills the boots then, eh?
See if he can fill their boots.
Do you not think it's strange, though? Because, you know, I look at this now, and again, we've gone like for Schär, with the pinging of the ball, as Simon's put in the chat there. He can ping a ball. Why can't we find a left-footed player that can ping a ball? You know, rather than going diagonal right to left, why can't we always look at going left to right? Because every time we've seen that ball, you know, played over the top from that left-hand side, it's either gone too straight because of the shape of the ball from a right footer that's gone through to the keeper, or it's gone, you know, deep into the corner where the attacking advance has gone. But one thing I must say, having seen Ilanga at St James's Park the weekend, the pace that lad has is phenomenal.
When he switches those afterburners on, he moves, boy.
So maybe that is the outlet as well. You know, maybe there's something behind that. But let's switch on. Let's switch on the afterburners towards the one that's burning the most press, I suppose. Isak. And I know everybody now is sick of hearing it. But again, I don't know how true these stories are, because obviously there's been lots and lots of people out there in the post now saying about Isak selling his house, or at least putting his house back on the market. Well, apparently he had a rolling 12-month contract with the
Apparently
estate
never
agents.
owned it. That's right. He
Never
just
owned it. No,
rented.
never owned it. And according to the neighbours, and again, this is a story that's come out from, some of the journals. After his second burglary, he said he wouldn't rent it again. He wouldn't have a further commitment to the property, and he wanted to go and move into somewhere that was a little bit more of a fortress, I suppose you could say. I mean, the lads that burgled him apparently have all been given time now. The gang of four that highlighted him have all given him time now. So, do you think there's any truth behind that? I mean, obviously, there's got to be something behind it. If this has been mentioned,
Well, I mean, what I said at the time was there's absolutely no excuse for a footballer getting his house burgled. Everybody knows, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to find out where a footballer lives. That's the first thing, right?
Yeah.
And everybody knows that footballers are going to be away from their premises when they're playing away matches.
Internationals and stuff like that as
So
well.
straight away, you've got you know the location, and you've got a pretty good time thing. Now then it's a question of have they got family, do the family go with them, do they stay at home, etc., etc., etc. And if you can establish by I don't know watching the airport to see if the family or friends, it's easy done.
Well,
Why the hell, if they know that the house is going to be empty for even if it's a week,
get security on board?
just get security on the job for a week, permanently,
Yeah.
24 hours, round the clock, couple of men. It's going to cost you, go stupid, $3,000, $4,000 to do that for a week.
Yeah. Geordie Dan just put in there were Italians and Brummies, apparently. So I better change my accent.
Twas you!
It was me!
You!
No, I wasn't nowhere near it. I don't even know where he bloody lives, to be fair. But yeah, I mean, that
in Darrasol.
well, I know he lives in Darrasol, but I mean, it's an estate. I don't know his house. But I mean, it's crazy to think, this was being, questioned. He will not be extending the 12-month lease of the property going forward. So,
he wasn't there long, actually, because he
2 years.
But he lived in Gosforth when he first came.
Mm.
That was, that famous picture of him walking the dogs.
Yeah,
that's at the bottom of the Grove in Gosforth.
Yeah, but he's been there. Well, I know. Like I say, it's been. I think it's something like 18 months. He's actually been in the property because he said he would do the 6 months, then go into a 12-month contract with the estate agents, and then he's obviously thinking of going elsewhere. And then there was some conversation that was on yesterday. I don't know where that was, saying that he's been waiting for a house to be built. Again, I've not seen anything from that ilk anywhere reported, so I don't know how true that is. And where he's gone to now, God only knows. He's up in hiding. Another thing, obviously, that come out from yesterday's conversation, and again, that's caused major storm across all the professional outlets, is his comments about not playing for Newcastle again. And again, if you think about it, directly, as it's not come from the horse's mouth, as this hasn't been sourced from anything that Isak has said directly to the club, hasn't even been put in a transfer request that we know to, even though I think it's common knowledge now that the lad wants out. He's got a way out. If at the end of August, the beginning of September, Liverpool don't come back in for him, and according to the rumours, he will not wear a Newcastle shirt or be in line to come back until he hears from Liverpool to say that the deal is over. They no longer want him. And DX was quite right in what he said yesterday with the Forest player that abandoned ship years ago. tried to force his way out, and then he had to literally come with cap in hand and start playing. And as daft it looks, it was the best football he played for Nottingham Forest that season. He came back. He actually hit the ground running, and I think sometimes that's where these players get to. And like I say, ill-advised is the shout amongst all of it. And there's been a quite a decent report that's been tendered. I'm just going to try and put my fingers on it because I've got so much open here. And it's come from Paul Merson. Yeah, exactly. Who often gets criticised for his views, especially those on Newcastle United. But his latest rant on Alexander Isak and the unbelievable situation he's put himself in makes for an interesting read. And he goes on to say about him holding the club to ransom and stuff like that. And he's quoted as saying, it's an unbelievable situation Isak has put himself into. This is what he said to Sky Sports. He's taken a big gamble by reportedly saying he'll never play for Newcastle again. Newcastle is a big city, but it's a fishbowl in terms of football, with it being a one-club city. I wouldn't want to be in his shoes if he does get his move. He's upset a lot of Newcastle fans with his actions. If he now doesn't get away before the window closes, he will need to score some serious goals to get the fans anywhere near back on his side. If he leaves, he won't be leaving Newcastle as a hero. Had he kept quiet, he still could have potentially gone for big money, giving Newcastle serious profit after giving his all to the club. He was a big part of that trophy success last season, and he would be rightly remembered for it. Everyone could have shaken hands and been happy with the deal eventually, but that's now completely gone. The situation is totally ridiculous. It just shows you the players have all the power, which is what we've been saying from day one, and that goes quite hand in hand with his advisor, who seems to be again the person who's doing a lot of the backroom chat, if you like. And he seems to be the one who's giving off or feeding him all the wrong information. And this guy, I'm going to put up on the picture here, is by all accounts leading him down the garden path there. Vlado Lemić is the guy who's his advisor, not an agent, because he hasn't got an agent's license.
But his brother has.
But his brother has, and that's where he sneaks under the guidance. Vladika Lemić, born in '66 of former Yugoslavia. After progressing through the youth setups, he spent a professional playing career at Borac Banja Luka in the Yugoslav Second League. He wasn't a big player, to be fair, and was part of the squad that sensationally won the 87-88 Yugoslav Cup. Lemić featured briefly in the final, entering as a late substitute in the club's 1-0 victory over Red Star Belgrade at the Maracana Stadium. And obviously he goes on to move to
the
Belgium.
Maracana Stadium.
Yeah.
So Yugoslavia played their cup final in the Maracana.
The Maracana Stadium. Yeah.
Wow.
His rise as a football agent, transitioning from the pitch to representation, Lemić launched his agent's career in '99, leveraging connections to Erik Gerets and fellow Serbian agent Ranko Stojic at PSV Eindhoven. He built strong relationships with PSV sporting director Frank Arnson and later Stan Valax, orchestrating key moves such as Mayeta Kezman, 13.8 million move from FK Partizan in 2000. His influence with PSV grew as those transfers paid immediate dividends on the field. But his major clientele, if you like, over the last couple of decades, has grown into one of football's most powerful behind-the-scenes figures. He's seen a partner at the agency Universal 22, representing high-profile names, including Emi Martinez and Luka Modric. In recent years, he has also been at the centre of Alexander Isak's summer transfer saga, advising the Newcastle United striker in his attempt to force a move to Liverpool. I'll let you do that one from the Irish.
Yeah, thank you again, Irish. Shearer to Isak. Would you wear? Oh yeah, this was the interview that Shearer did with Isak. Would you wear the number 9? Isak said 14 is his number due to Henry, and he's not actually saying what the quote was there. Isak wears the number 9 for Sweden. He wanted out before the season end. Yeah, what he also said about the number 9 shirt in that very interview was number 9 comes with a lot of pressure. Number 9 here comes with a lot of pressure. He says, I'm quite happy with me number 14.
Yeah, I mean, you could read into it two ways. You know, international numbers don't mean a lot when it comes to squad numbers. And like I say, there's a lot of players that are superstitious about numbers, so they carry the number through. But a lot of players are happy just to take an international number, as well as Ron Turnbull put me down for the 3-0 win Saturday.
Yeah, I've got that. Is that 3-0 for the Toon?
It looks like it.
I've already
Saturday,
asked him.
Toon. That's what he said. That's what he's putting.
Toon. All right, because yeah. But Ron, the either WhatsApp or email only, because sometimes we see them in the chat, sometimes we don't. So WhatsApp or email only for the prediction league. What was it? I was going to say someone else then. Took me. I'll come back to it.
Oh, no worries. So going on then to his more recent controversies, because I think this is where everybody gets a little bit stuck with this lad, Lemić. He's like I say, he's got a couple of major issues. In the early 2000s, PSV prohibited Lemić from entering their training ground amid allegations of financial misconduct, claims that he was never legally proven. He has also been banned by Ajax in the Netherlands and AIK in Sweden for similar shady practices. In 2012, FIFA launched an inquiry into the role of Milan Badej. Is that Badej? I can't remember how you pronounce that. Transfer from Dynamo Zagreb to Hamburg, investigating if the profit was an inflated fee. Chelsea's financial fair play allegations, an international journalist consortium known as the Cyberlakan, which is Cyprus leak, revealed that between 2005 and 2017, Lemić received approximately 100 million SEK, around £7 million, illicitly from Roman Abramovich's companies. Those funds are alleged to have been channeled through the Universal Agency to facilitate transfers of Antonio Conte, Arjen Robben, Branislav Ivanovic, and Nemanja Matic, potentially circumventing UEFA's financial fair play regulations. The Guardian warned that such schemes can trigger point deductions for clubs under the FFP rules.
Punt Marks is saying there. Put in disclaimers, Gary. You don't want to knock on the door in the middle of the night from some Serbian fellas.
Yeah, exactly. This is all.
We are only reporting what is out there in the media.
Yeah,
the Mirror have done a big spread on him.
I was reading that. I mean, it's funny, isn't it? Because I'd spent, while I was watching you guys last night on the channel, I thought, you know what, I'm going to go and sit at the computer while I got you in my ears and do some background work on this lad. And it's surprising what you can find out. And then, lo and behold, this morning I see what the bloody Mirror have done. And I'm like, well, why did I waste 2 hours of my life when I could have just read theirs? Anyway. Unlicensed agent practices. This is the next one that was obviously found out about this lad. Despite his global reach, Lemić is reportedly not too officially licensed as a FIFA agent. He operates under the title as advisor with his brother Zoran, who holds the formal license. Serving as the intermediary for official club communications, this arrangement has drawn criticism for its lack of transparency. and raises questions about regulatory compliance. Allegedly dodgy deal with Abramovich, inside claims Lemić negotiated player moves for Chelsea at prices intentionally lowered to keep the club's books peeling during Abramovich's tenure. While never criminally charged, these open secrets in some football circles suggest abuse of power and conflicts of interest when advising both player and major club owners. He's certainly got
He's got a colourful history, shall we say?
a very colourful history, and when you think about these guys advising the likes of Isak.
But again, we are only reporting what's out there in the media.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it goes on to I've put down some of the impact on football and reputation, because any player now that's especially under this dark cloud that's happened under Isak now, which has become globally known, it's going to be, they're all going to be tarred with the same brush. And the big thing that I noticed yesterday, if you're from Liverpool, and even a Liverpool fan, I mean, Liverpool are opening their arms to this guy. What's saying in 2 years' time when he moves there, and some of the likes of Real Madrid when he's 27 come a knocking, and he's on a 5 or 6 year contract with Liverpool, he don't do the same to them.
Well, he'll definitely be on a 5-year contract so that they can amortise the payments.
Yeah.
They can't give him a 3-year contract because that's 50 million a year then.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? When you think about it, this lad's
If they
open.
pay the 150, 40 million, even if they pay 120.
Yeah. I mean, it is going to be an interesting situation that this lad finds himself into now, with his advisor obviously keen on getting a pocket full of change, because that's what he's being advised on. And that's what I said. At the end of the day, because none of this has come out of Isak, there's no transfer request, there's nothing. What Isak can do come the 1st of September and say, I didn't say any of this. I've been told by the club to go and train on my own, which I have done.
And that is what I've been saying all along. I haven't heard a single direct quote from Alexander Isak, but that is his fault.
Yes, because he hasn't come out and
he hasn't come out and denied what's being said.
Exactly. So that's what I said.
And he needs. If I were the club, I'd be saying to him, right, Isak, this is what's out there. This is what's being said. You've said. Have you said it or have you not? Now, if he says I've said it, there's grounds then for punishment.
Yeah.
Including financial punishment. And if he says he hasn't said it, then say, right, you're going to we're going to get the cameras. You're going to make a statement saying I have not said any of this.
Yeah. Well, that's his out though. That's what I said. He's being clever. He's utilising.
Well, we are being stupid by not having done this sooner.
Yes, absolutely. But what I'm saying is he's being very clever because he's got an out. Because, like I said, none of us can prove that any of this has come from Isak directly. It's come from his agent. Whether it's come from this lad, I don't know. But he has been very clever, because now if he does, if Liverpool come in with this rumour of 120 plus 5 and Newcastle do hold ground and say it's not enough, if Liverpool walk away now, Isak's in, as Paul Merson's just stated there, Isak's in a strange situation because he has to come with cap in hand now. But like I said, he has got an out, and I don't, I want to help, and I want to be open and say it hurts me the way the players acted and behaved massively as a fan. I understand he's upset because, when you're promised there, and we've all had it in the past where we've all been promised things and that hasn't come to fruition. But there's a way of dealing with disappointment, and the way he's dealt with his disappointment, to me, just isn't the right way.
Irish Assassin saying that if he really wanted to deal, he should man up and put in a transfer request, but he
That's
will
exactly
not
right.
because you'd lose sponsorship deals. If you want out, man up, man, and put in the request.
Yeah, really, really poor situation he finds himself in. But like I said, you read in between the lines of a lot of what people are saying about his house going up for sale, everything else. Again, he's got a way out because of the burglaries that have happened. According to the neighbours, that's been spoken about months ago. And obviously, Chris put on the channel last night about his interview where he was saying how much he loved Newcastle, he loved the fans. So again, it's all a bit washy for me, if I'm honest.
Wishy-washy.
Yeah, totally.
Well, the club throughout this whole episode, the club have been absolutely useless, in
Yeah,
my opinion.
yeah.
Absolutely useless. PRY, every
Everything.
which way. There's
Yeah,
not a single good thing you can say about the way this has all been handled, from start to finish. From originally being told he's not getting the contract that Amanda had promised him, from going right back to that, right up to the present day. And the various steps that have since escalated it in the last 3 weeks. It's a joke. It's a total, utter joke.
yeah. It is a crazy situation we find ourselves. But again, let's just have a quick look at the current situation regarding who spent the most. And as you can see quite openly there. This is before the Malik
Except
Chow.
for
So,
Con, can you
so you want to? Can
enlarge
you?
that?
That's as. Let me see if I can do it here. No, that's as big as it can go, mate.
No, I can't
Um,
read that.
well, just on the top, it's saying dated as the 4th of August. So the Malik Chow isn't on this deal here for us who sit in 13th on 56.7. But the only reason I've put this up is if you look at the top 6 clubs: Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City, Man United, Tottenham Hotspur.
They're all at the top.
They're all at the top. They're the highest spenders. Obviously, get the biggest turnover financially, commercially, and obviously pay decent wages. And so when you look, I mean, fair play to Sunderland, 121 million up to yet. Leeds at 73, and I mean, I expect these guys to be throwing money out there because they've got to survive. But it'll be interesting to see whether they keep that momentum going because money doesn't guarantee a lot of things. And then you look at Fulham, not even spending £1 million yet, and Crystal Palace spending 2 million. Aston Villa only spending 6 million, according to this. So again, you're looking at the PSR situation, and you've got to question why these guys are happy to get rid of the likes of Ramsey. Are they struggling, to spend money because of the current situation that they find themselves in? But again, it does go to prove that to be a big earner out there, you've got to be willing to win anything in this day and age. You've got to be one of the biggest earners commercially. And a really good thing that I think it was Dave that put on the chat was the amount of revenue Manchester United bought in for televised games, finishing 15th in the Premier League, and yet they were still above us in televised finances. Go on then, I'll let you do that one.
Let's say the SKF 1014. Hi, Gary Wynn. Wondering if Isak is camping right outside Slot's house.
Yeah, interesting one.
Such a shame. He was idolised.
Yeah,
Indeed, he was.
like
And the
could have been a Shearer. Always going to be
badly
another.
advised, in my opinion. Yeah, listen. As I've said a million times, I don't blame him
No,
for wanting to reach for the stars. And if you seriously felt you couldn't do that here, great. But there was far, far better ways to go about that than the way he's done it. Far, far better ways.
absolutely.
But again, we don't know how much the club is culpable in this, in terms of handling the situation, because it would appear that we've been not very good at all.
No. An interesting one by the Manchester Evening News. I don't know whether you've managed to see this.
No, I haven't seen them on the news.
Yeah, I was reading through a couple of articles.
But again,
that have got-
cartel media.
Yeah, indeed. But I didn't realise, when he joined Newcastle in 22, Pep did an interview in last season in 24 saying that when he was at Real Sociedad, we started to follow him. We were impressed. He was one of our targets with all his skill set and things like that. He said, he's done really well in the Premier League, and he was certainly a player that was potentially
On their radar.
On their radar.
Easy to say, isn't it, after he's come and done the business?
Yeah.
Whether he was or whether he actually wasn't,
But the question
it's good
was...
to turn around and say, oh, yeah, we looked at him.
Yeah, but the question is, would he have been like he is now if he was at Man City?
Well, there you go.
And I suppose that's
he
always
wouldn't have had
going to
Eddie,
be...
and he wouldn't have had the team
No.
built around utilising his particular skill set.
No.
Although having said that, that's exactly what they've done with Haaland.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
They've built the
whole squad around that, haven't they?
The whole squad around feeding Haaland, so you don't know. But were they looking at Isak before Haaland or after Haaland? I don't know.
Well, it just says 22 when it was on Real Madrid.
Because I still don't know who's got the best deal out of that yet.
Well, it's like I said, they're both different strikers, but they both give you the end product, don't they? I do
That's
think
the bottom line with a striker.
Isak's got the best touch. He's very much Henry-esque. We've said that from day one. He gives you something different. Where he's a powerhouse with Haaland, isn't he? Haaland just gets goals that you would think, well, how's he got his leg up that high?
Haaland's shooting is what separates him from the field for me. You can just get a shot away from seemingly anywhere in the within 12 yards.
Yeah.
And accurately.
Yeah. Have we got anything starred, mate? Because obviously I've been.
Yeah, I've got a few here.
I'll let you do them then because we've done most of them. Yeah.
Let's have a look. I feel sorry for anybody in hospital. We've done that one. We've done Michael's, Irish Assassin. Isak Vlado Lemić was banned by PSV and Ajax for his shady practices. Also paid off by Abramovich for forcing transfers for Chelsea. Liverpool beware, he will do the same to you.
Yeah.
Marco 4863. The mirror and the sun are only good for wiping your punani on. Well, they're not my go-to publication. However, whatever they print, as we keep on saying about, most print journalists, has to be accurate. Otherwise, the publication stands to be, in massive libel claims.
Yeah.
So, do I like the Sun or the Mirror particularly? Do I think they're good? Not necessarily, but I think you can generally take what they say as truthful. Otherwise, they would be laying themselves open to massive libel suites. Gavin Fuller, we can't blame everything on Isak when Graham Bailey has been saying for a year that Isak was foaming, I think that is, FOAM, foaming that Gordon had got a new deal. Why were the club not all over this to make sure he got it? The Stars are happy, in other words, that he got a deal.
Well, again, you can only go on what the rumours say, and Mitchell was saying there's more important deals that need to be done, contracts that need to be done before we come and have a look at his, because he'd got another 3 years left on his contract.
Yeah, but should you not then also think in terms of where do these other, and certainly looking back now with 2020 hindsight, where do these other ancillary matters that needed looking after compare in the pecking order to having got that particular one done and dusted and over the line?
I have a theory, right? we've heard from
We
from
love
day
a
one.
Gary theory.
We've heard from day one. Darren Hill saying everybody has a price, right?
Yeah.
If that price is hit, so who is the most sellable asset at Newcastle?
Right now.
Well, who if you was to pick a team,
Obviously, Isak.
you'd look at Isak, wouldn't you?
You know, your goal scorer, yeah.
Yeah. So you'd look at Isak. So when he come out and said that, I didn't read too much into it because every player on the planet has the price. Every player, if you want to be pedantic about it. So for me, it was a case of was the fact that it was overlooked, this contract, by Mitchell, who was obviously seemed to have the finger pointed at him directly from the journals, saying that he didn't think because he got 3 years left on his contract, it's not an important issue, and he's being paid a decent amount of money for what he come to the club with. I don't want to say it because it makes you look like a bloody conspiracy theorist, but imagine if Darren Eales and Mitchell had said, if somebody comes knocking, it means that we haven't got PSR issues for the next few seasons going forward. Are they looking at the club as a whole to say, if we get this over the line for 130 plus million?
So what you're suggesting there, then, if I'm reading you correctly between the lines, is that they have said, look, let's piss him off a bit, and then we might get the 130 mil bid or whatever. Certainly, Arsenal were offering 120 at the time.
Yeah.
And that'll solve all our PSR issues. So yes, what you're saying there between the lines, just your assumption,
only my assumption.
Just what you're thinking, which is what this channel's all about, opinions. And you've said, look, it doesn't matter if we piss him off, because if we piss him off, we're going to get 120 million, and that's our PIF problem, PSR problems solved.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
and that is an absolutely valid sort of opinion to come to. And from their point of view at the time, maybe even you could even say it was reasonable.
Well, for them, it's a win-win because they've still got a striker on a 3-year contract, and if somebody comes in with 130 plus million for him, they're banging on the pay because as a fan, yes, you'd be paid off the fact that we've become a selling club again, right?
Okay, but now what I would, so I now want to take that a bit further.
Go.
Because if you remember, the reason Amanda landed us in the mess that we ended up being in was because everybody and their dog thought that Pep was coming in for Bruno.
Yeah.
And I think this is exactly what Amanda did then. And so look, we're sailing close to the wind, but don't worry, we're going to get that 100 million off City for Bruno, and that'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Now, because of Bruno's super loyalty and et cetera, that didn't happen. And all of a sudden, that left Amanda with egg on her face. So have we got a situation here where Eales and Mitchell said the same thing and said, we don't want to end up in the same situation that Amanda did, so let's exacerbate that situation for as long as we can to ensure that we don't end up in the Amanda Bruno situation, so that we do get him out the door and get the money. And again, that's a kind of perfectly reasonable technique to adopt.
Yeah.
But
because
2020 hindsight proves what a fucking mistake it was to do that, as did the Bruno thing. That was a mistake as well.
And the only reason why I have I've thought about that. I mean, I've listened to a lot of what we've talked about, the Saudis not jumping on board and being quick to respond, the board allowing this to, probably spread the open fire a bit wider than we need to before it gets doused. And, the to-in and fro-in. And somebody's just sent me an article from the Purple Panel out on X. Newcastle informed Liverpool to drop media-driven narratives targeting Alexander Isak. The message was clear that if they wish to continue their pursuit, they must meet the valuation set and avoid low ball offers designed to be rejected, which only strains relationships. So there you go. That's just come in, and that's literally dropped on my door. So again, there's lots of conversations being talking about. And I had literally at the start of all this, coming from a Liverpool person. That's all I'm going to say. 130 plus 10 is what I'm going to keep saying. 130 plus 10. Okay, so
and that's going to be accepted.
I think that will be that's been the what, you can't really say it as a valid conversation, but apparently between the two parties, that is what they would accept if they were to come in with them figures. And I think the 120 mark, the 110, which was low balled, and I said that as soon as this becomes open aired, they will come back in with a low ball offer to see how much pressure we're under because of the Isak influence now saying that he won't train, he won't do this. And again, we don't know whether that's come from Isak, come from the agent, come from Liverpool, because all we're hearing is the journal side of it. So we don't know the source of it. And I think, like I said, it's easy to point the finger, call him names and everything else. He wants out. He wants to, invest in his career, going to a club that can potentially give him that. Give him a higher wage. Give him all the bits and pieces he wants.
Give him a Ballon d'Or.
Exactly. I have no issues with any of that. Like I said, I just think he's been very ill-advised. But for me, looking at the clubs, as we were talking before I put that up, it was a win-win for the club because they get themselves out of a pickle one way, because now they can open the doors and unfortunately, go and fill the void of the last three windows where we've been without a signing, which has got everybody's
because of not selling Bruno.
Because of not selling Bruno effectively. And then obviously this comes on and you start saying to yourself, how much did the club, and even the journals now are coming out and saying they knew 12 months ago that this deal was going to happen or there was going to be something in this window. So I think there's been a lot of conversations being had that we just ain't privy to, mate.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that goes without saying. But I do think that any relationships that existed between the hierarchy at Liverpool and PIF, I think they must have been strained by now to breaking point.
Yeah.
With the way Newcastle's name's now been dragged through the muck.
Yeah.
So, and even if there were conversations of that description going on even a couple of months ago, let's go back to the cup final.
Yeah.
Even if there were going on then, I don't think they would apply now. I think that horse is bolted.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's it's the perfect tap up as well, though, isn't it? During the cup final, conversations are had all the time between people, players are often just having a conversation. We saw even the likes of Trippier go up to some of his ex-teammates at Atletico Madrid, and have a bit of having a bit of a chat and a hug and a bit of love.
And that's the way deals should be done.
But, you've got a question now whether there's any legal steps that Newcastle can take.
Well, it was on Monday, was it not, when I said the most significant, forget about all the rest of the news, the most significant news I saw on Monday was that PF, or in the way that Isak is exploring his options, PIF are exploring legal action against Liverpool for tapping up.
Yeah, and against the player himself. because obviously they've there is a lot of weight behind the player, but because if there's seen to be any underhand, as we've seen with Maricanos at Forest.
I mean, we had all this blurb coming out a fortnight before Liverpool actually put in a bid.
Yeah.
So
you knew it was happening, didn't you?
But
without reading between the lines.
When what was the date at which Liverpool contacted Newcastle, as they should have done, and said, "Can we have permission to speak to the player or his agent?"
Yeah.
What was that date? Because if PIF can prove that they had all this going on in the background way before that happened, then it's tapping up legally.
Yeah. Legally, yeah, exactly. I'm just having a quick look to see if there's anything updated regarding the news.
Is anything on latest on Ramsey, maybe?
There's nothing on Ramsey apart from, according to all of the sources that I can see, the Ramsey deal is edging closer with everything being agreed between the two parties. And I think it's just Aston Villa, from what I'm reading, that are holding up the scenario now, if you like.
Everton also in line for him now, apparently.
Well, Everton have inquired, but I think because of Champions League and everything else, I think he would rather play at the highest level. So I think he has come on board with the idea. I'm just having a quick look at this.
No, there's nothing confirmed yet.
No, nothing at all.
Right, so
Chronicle Live has just.
I think that's it. Listen, folks, smash the likes. We've just passed the 200. Thank you very much for hitting those likes, folks.
Yeah.
But we've got 500 watching, so get a few more on the way out. Hit that like button. Do us all a big favour. Hit the subscribe and hit the bell. All free, and you'll get to know when we're on next, which is tonight.
Tonight
at 9:30.
Yeah, you've got me again because Chris is having a night off.
And you're frozen, Gary?
Oh, well, there you go. You can still hear me, though, yeah?
So perfect timing.
Yeah, exactly.
What a lovely little visage you have there.
The black screen of doom.
Anyway, yeah, we'll see you later on. But smash that. The link for the Predictions League, if you want to join that, is in the chat. Smash that. If you want to help us out and become a member, please do so. You'll get member content. We're doing I think on Friday night, we're doing a member special for Premier League predictions. So get yourself lined up for that one. And if Gary is still frozen...
Yeah, I'm still frozen.
It's a goodbye from him. Well, him.
Yeah, and it's a goodbye from him over there. I am pointing, by the way.
Yeah. Well,
cool.
You look beautiful just as you are, Gary.
Indeed.
So thanks for watching.
What do they say? Beauty is skin deep. That's why I'm born inside out. Oh, bless you. So again, thanks to everybody. Thanks to Irish Assassin for the super chats.
Especially thank you, yeah.
And ADSK 1014 for your super chat. Thank you so much for that. And like I say, thanks for everybody that's hit the thumbs up. It's been a pleasure, as always. And we'll see you later on at 9 o'clock. Is it 9 or 9:30?
9:30.
9:30. There you go. 9:30 tonight. See you later. Cheer all.
How are the lads?
Lassies and bairns.